Welcome everyone. So in this video we will learn about the for loop, and we have learned that what a loop is. Now let me move to for loop. As I told you that we have three types of different loop here, that is while, do while, and our for loop, about which we are going to learn in next videos. But first of all, let me learn about for loop. And a most common benefit of using for loop is you have to just declare all the condition in just a single parenthesis. In while and do while, you have to initialize the condition in different positions. As I told you that there are three things that we have to declare for a for loop, that is initialization, condition, and increment. So the basic difference in all these three loops is the position of these three things: initialization, condition, and increment. In for loop, we have single parentheses in which we first declare initialization, then after this statement terminators, and that are semicolons, we have conditions, then again semicolons, and then we have the increment. In the while and do while, we have these located at other different positions, but now we are just talking about for loops. So these are the three things that we need to declare for loop, and always prefer a space between here, so it will be a little more good looking and properly arranged. And after that we have the parentheses, there are curly braces, sorry, and in which there is our code which is run in this for loop. And here I have a flow chart of for loop. So first of all, what happens in a loop is when the program come and terminate the for, it will check the initialization condition, that is our value which we defined at initial, and want that from here our code should have to begin. And after that it will check the condition, which is the second step here. And if the condition is false, or it may not satisfy the condition, like if I take I is equal to 0 and the condition is I greater than 2 and 0 is not greater than 2, so it's a false. And at false it will go to end of for loop and get out of the loop and move to next statement. And if the condition is true, then it will go inside these parentheses, sorry, curly braces, and terminate the statement whatever in these curly braces. And after that, completing the whole statement, it will again come out and go to for. As in our programming, we have void loop, about which we are learning from more than 20 videos. And what happens in this loop is the code first perform, and then it again comes to loop. It does not move to setup, but it moves to loop. Similar to this loop, we have these loops like inbuilt functions and the functions built by us. There is loop and the loop that we build. So it's an inbuilt loop that is followed again and again in a board, and these are the loop that we make to follow for certain conditions. And then it will have an increment or decrement, whether what we have mentioned here. And the increment is not necessary 1, it will be more than 1, like 4, 5, 6, whatever we want to have. And then it will again check the condition. If the condition is again true, then it will again terminate the statements. Like let me take an example of I is equal to, so let me try to imply all this. I is equal to 0, we have taken I is equal to 0, and then I less than 5, so it became true here. We do not require anything much here. I is equal to 0 and which is less than 5, so it will terminate the statements which is inside the braces. And after the statement it will again come here, and if we have provided increment, then it means that the value is increased by 1. And if you want to increase your value by any other factor, then you can use any other factor here. So the value is then increased by 1, and then 1 is still less than 5, then it will again check the condition and go in statement braces, and again terminate the statements. and then again came here and then check the increment. And this method or the process, we can say, go on up to the conditions became false. So this is about the loop here. And now if you want to have more than one this statement incrementer, then you use equal to plus, and here the number with which you want to increment or decrement your value. Sorry, the plus is before the equality sign here. So this is the increment for any other value, like I have taken 5 here. And now this is the for loop, and let me make a simple code here to demonstrate the loops and with arrays, and try to implement the code on the board also, so that it will be understandable to you. So let's move to the IDE. So here, first of all, remove this. So now what we are going to do here, we will take an array and give the array certain values or specified pins, and then take LEDs on the pins and just use a single statement to turn on all the LEDs one by one. So let me have int and LED pin. Now let me take an array of length 5. Instead of taking 5 variables, we have just declared a one. So here the brackets, and 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 the pin values. And where is our bracket here? Now in pin mode we have the LED pin at output. Now in void loop, what we have to do, we use a for loop and consider a variable. Now there's a thing that here I is equal to 0. We have not mentioned I before. If you want, then you can declare the int let I have declared here, and initialize with the value 0, or if you want or not, and then again use this here. So this is the I, or you want to declare it in for loop, then you can also declare it here. It's by using int, which is I'm going to do here. I have declared inside the parentheses, and here int I is equal to 2. Here try to take this single condition at a place, and then space and terminator. It will be easy to you. And then I less than 7, then again space, terminator, and then increment of +1. And now what should happen if the condition is true? That digital right, and we have LED pin, and then we use indexing I, which means that we will terminate every statement one by one. And then this one is at high, and take a delay of let 300 millisecond, so it will not be too slow. So what will happen here is that it will first check the array, and then it go to setup, that it's an output. After that, in loop it will first terminate the int statement, that is I is equal to 2, and use the value 2 here. And now it has 2, and 2 is less than 7, and it has to make 2 to 3. So first of all, for 2 it will go inside the parentheses, sorry, brackets here, and then digital write LED pin I, and I is equal to 2 here. So it will use the value 2 and make the LED pin at 2 at high. Then take a delay of 300 millisecond, and then again come to loop, and then check the statement again, which is 3 now, and 3 is also less than 7, and it has to become 4. But for 3 it will again terminate the both statements, and then continue this process up to 6. So this is our simple code here. Now we will imply it on board and try to check whether it's working or not. So first of all, let me compile the code, and you can save wherever you want to. Now let's check for errors. So the code is nearly compiled. here we go, there is no error and it's done uploading, sorry, done compiling. Let me upload the code to the board and check whether it's working or not. So see on the board now, let me move it there. So here we are on the board, and here we have connected 5 different LEDs to the Arduino, and as you can see here, they are commonly grounded, and we have also uploaded the code. So now let me power up the Arduino and check whether all this will glow or not. So as by the concept of loop, we have defined a single array containing all these 5 LEDs number, and they will glow up by just using a single variable. So now let me power up the Arduino here. So as we have powered up, so here all these are glowing. So as you can see here, every of these are glowing, and we have just defined a single block of code. And also if we want to focus on the code, so let me show you the code where we have defined all this in a single LED. So as you can see here on the code, we have a single variable array, and by this single variable all these LEDs are glowing. So this is our code. So see you in the next video.